7 to 10.
7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Because we have an investor that usually comes on this call. She's looking for a 5-year investment.
Well, the one in, we can pay her back in 5. That's not a problem paying her back in 5.
Is that like a 2 times the equity?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Um, I'll send you her information. She'll need to, take a look at it.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, I partner up with someone who's an RE Mentor student, and she partnered up with RE Mentor owners to do a park.
Mm-hmm.
And because she didn't bring any EMD to the table or any investors to the table, all they gave her was 25% of the acquisition fee. So they actually stole the property from her.
Yeah, that's not
It was
cool.
a
Wait,
four,
wait,
it was a
wait, wait, wait,
$14 million property.
wait. Shouldn't bring no money to the table?
No, she brought the property. She did the underwriting. She did the pitch deck. She did the PSA. She did everything. She met with the owners. She did the negotiations, but she didn't have any money to bring on the table. So they told her, "You bring it down and make you a GP, part of a GP." But after they got it, they just gave her 25% of the acquisition fee, and that's it. So she got angry with them.
So depends on how much the acquisition fee is.
Very small.
It was real small.
Yeah. But I
You,
met her
you,
when I
you,
when
you
when
know,
I
you
went
know,
to,
a lot of people would not. A lot of people wouldn't even. Wouldn't even. They would give very. They would give very little if you don't bring anything to the table.
that's not what they told her.
That's what they told her.
That's what
That's
they
not what
said.
they told her.
That's not what they told her. No,
Okay.
because when I went to the LIBA meetup in Chicago, I paid for them to go there. Her and her husband. That's how I met them. They wanted to go and they didn't have the money to go, so I paid for them to go. And that's how I met them. So after this happened with David Lindell and RE Mentor, she came to me and she says, "Can we do this together?" She is so good at this; it's amazing.
Hmm.
Who
So
is?
the person I partner up with in the RV park, her name is Lynn Tan.
Okay.
They were on this show at one time. They were here one time.
Right.
Because every network I get into, I bring all my people in with me.
Alicia, go ahead and do your thing. Charisma is the guest, right?
Who's
Charisma,
here?
are you?
Tina is also here.
I,
What's
oh, wait a minute. Did we mix up? Well, let me put myself
it's
on camera.
it's fine. It's
No, did I
fine.
mix up the date? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I probably mixed up the date.
So I know that
Uh-huh.
Charisma agreed to it the last time she was on, but then
Right.
she started to share about it after. So I don't know if there was any follow up after the call,
Oh, I got you.
but
Because all
she's
right, so
already ready.
all right. No, I thought okay. So when charisma, what I thought was when you had reached out, I thought you were saying that you were going to go ahead and do it. That's all. All right, no
Yes,
problem.
that's fine. Yes, that's
That's no
good.
problem. All right.
Yes, I can.
It's gonna be exciting though. So I don't know if y'all know Charisma Freeman yet, but she is in Rwanda, Africa right now on site. Just like Daryl's in Dayton, Texas, she is on site in Rwanda, Africa, making things happen. So if you want to know more about investing outside the country, make sure you tap in. Get a little closer to your computer, your laptop, your mobile device. Get your notes up, get everything ready to go because you are in for a phenomenal ride. Charisma, welcome to our capital raising strategy call.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Charisma, can you post your information on chat? Because I think I know
Yes.
someone who would love to meet you.
Yes, I can. Here is my website.
I met her last week and she was talking to me about investing out of the country, and I said, I have no clue, I've never done it. So you'll be great for her to meet.
Yes, and if while Charisma's doing that, if you haven't already looked her up on YouTube, for those of you that were here last week, you need to make sure that you do. You are missing out on Education Central. She gives out a lot of information. She's a very honest person, very transparent, and she is about her business and she's about helping out and giving back. So make sure you listen in, and Charisma, what you're posting, I'll also post it to our Facebook page, because if you all didn't already know, we are live streaming.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
All
Let me
right.
see.
Awesome. Hi, Alessandra. It's great to have you here. We was talking to your AI. Uh, and because we are live now, we're going to share with everyone. The creator of the GOB wants you live on the call. No AIs are welcome. So if they happen to enter in, they will be excused from the session, but you are more than welcome to patch in either on GOB Network or the Commercial Multifamily Masterminds page or our YouTube page. So we look
Okay, I'm
forward
here.
to having you.
I'm driving down the street, but I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. Awesome. So go ahead, Charisma. If you can share with us from the very beginning, why did you decide to invest in Africa? And then how did you come about Rwanda? Because I know that that wasn't initially your focus.
So initially, I wanted to invest overseas. It wasn't necessarily Africa. As some of you all know, I live abroad for at least half the year. So I had been looking at Panama, Colombia, Mexico, just different places. And I was on a retreat with some ladies that also travel abroad. And of course, they knew that I do real estate. I've done some speaking events for a number of these things. And one of the ladies, we started talking, and she was telling me how she had bought land in Rwanda, Africa. And I'm like, I don't really know anything about Rwanda. Like, who goes to Rwanda? So, she told me she had bought land and how the land was inexpensive. She had paid 3,000 for a plot. And at this point, well, no, actually it was 3,000. At this point, just the following year, the plots were now up to 5,000, 6,000. So she was buying. She went ahead and bought sight unseen. She had found out about it on YouTube, and she said, I'm gonna take a gamble since it's only, $5,000. And since the prices are going up. So she was just buying residential land just because she wanted something in Africa. Well, I started looking into Rwanda, and I realized that Rwanda was just not this place in Africa. Rwanda was doing big things. Basically, they are trying to become, well, they are the Singapore of Africa. They are the second cleanest nation in the world. Singapore is the first. Coming into Rwanda, you can't even bring a plastic bag. That is completely banned. They have all these initiatives. They have a new area called Vision City, where everything is green. Not only do they have that part to it, but they are building a airport. This initially was going to be a smaller airport, but Qatar Airlines got on board. And if you don't know Qatar, Qatar is a major international airline. My son is in the background, so yeah. But so they got on board, and this went from, maybe 50 million billion, something like that, maybe 50 billion to 100, I think it's $125 billion airport. So it'll have the passenger side of it, but it will also be the major import and export for East and Central Africa, which is major. One thing about Africa is they don't have a whole lot of connectivity in their airports. So when you do a flight, you typically are going to lay over anywhere but Africa. You will fly over Africa, do a layover, and come back into Africa. So this will put an end to a lot of that. This will be a new layover area so you have the import, the export, the factories are definitely coming up in the area. And then you have the fact that this is going to be the new connection for especially East and Central Africa, but probably even for South Africa, because a lot of times they will be going to these different areas because Rwanda is technically in Central Africa. So they'll be doing that. They also have some other initiatives going on, agriculture. I think is it Bill Gates' son? One of those very, very, very rich people. I think it's Bill Gates. His son actually has a project going on here where he opened up a school, and he also is doing the irrigation system in that area. So he has put major money in there. It's one of those things where they have too much money and they need to offload it. So they chose to offload it in Rwanda. So they are doing some major things. The technology sector, they have some of the strongest internet here. They have good Wi-Fi. They're equipping their people with cell phones because a lot of times they don't have them, but that's what they're doing here. So they have towers throughout Rwanda, even in the areas that we wouldn't go into really. So I did go to a conference here actually, and I found out that not only did Rwanda sound promising to me, but all of the other African countries are now looking at Rwanda like, how did you do this? What are you doing? How are you able to do A, B, C, and D? So they are really the trailblazers. Right now is a time where you can get in, where it's not as expensive. It is climbing up there. I met with an American the other day. He bought his land for $10,000 a year and a half ago. His land is now selling for $75,000. So if you want a plot next to his, that's how much that is. So and that's in the city area. That's not even the area with the airport. So there are some major, major things going on here in Rwanda. So even though my friend was just investing because she wanted a place, she really stumbled on a gold mine without even realizing it. So that is why I chose Rwanda. Also, because unlike other African countries, there are checks and balances here. You can't just rip off a foreigner and get away with the money. That's not something that Rwanda allows. They actually have a phone number that if you ever felt like you were scammed, you would call that number. They would do investigations and they do get your money back. So now you could still get overcharged, and you do need to get information, but just those basic things that you as an investor should know to find out. But the opportunity here is definitely major. There are actually Chinese people here that are walking around with bags of money buying land, like as they walk the streets. So that is how major things are here as far as getting land, buying property. And as Americans, we're kind of the last to find out, but apparently everybody else is already on board. So am I, because I have my plots as well.
That's awesome. So when you said that you have your plots as well, with your plots, what's the location? What drew you to them?
So there's some different things that I look at. My plots are in the area where the airport will be. It's Bugesera. So it's the Kigali Bugesera International Airport. It's about 15 minutes from the airport. They'll be building resurfacing a road directly from where my land is to the airport. So the goal was to get in that area. Well, my goal was to get in an area where I saw development. There are some areas that are still undeveloped. My area is developed. You can walk across the street to one of the private schools. There's a daycare by it. There's already residential property around it. So it'll probably be one of the areas that's developed first. But there are other areas that I'm looking at where you can buy. Those are plots. So plots are about 3 to 450 square meters, which is about 3,000 to 4,500 square feet. So you can buy the plots, but you can also buy it in hectares. Hectares are 2.5 acres. So you can buy a hectare of land for maybe 40, 50,000, split that up. And then into the smaller plots, the 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, split that up and sell that individually. And, that will be a plot like I have. So, it could be something you can hold for maybe 2 years and then split it up. You can go in together. There's some different things that you can do there. I am very strategic in where I buy. I look at the roads. I've gotten to know some of the locals. So I take a look at the roads, where the roads will be. They're building a major highway there. So I look, you want to be in close proximity, but you don't want to be right on it. Then there's different types of land. There's commercial, residential, agriculture. They're doing some rezoning that will be done by the end of the year, or should be done by the end of the year. So there's also the mixed use land. So there is industrial land. So renting out, maybe buying land and renting it out to a factory, or building a factory and renting that out. So there's still a lot of opportunity there. What I'm looking at now is this is about 30 minutes out of the city center, but now I'm looking at land in the city center. So those areas that are appreciating quickly right away, like for example, the one where he bought the 4 plots for 10K, and now they're worth 75K each. So I'm looking at that land as well. That is in these places that are going to be the higher, the more expensive areas, because all of this it's appreciating very quickly. So right now the goal is to get the land. With my land in Bugesera, those are 2 plots, so probably about 9,000 square feet. I plan to build apartments. I'm going to do some 1 bedrooms and some 2 bedrooms. I have about 12 of them on that land. That will cost me about less than 100,000 to build. So you think, between the land and that, you're thinking 125 for 12 apartments and the land that you own. So depending on how intricate you get, of course the price can go up. But that is a starting price. So I'm looking at doing apartments for short and mid-term rentals. I've also thought about doing maybe a medical center where I hire nurses that, go to the airport, for people to have layovers and they need someone. So there's a lot of different ideas that I'm thinking about. I may be partnering with someone to open a business soon. So this is kind of that place that is definitely ripe for business. They are still in a place where they're still building. They need entertainment, they need good restaurants, they really need everything. They have a lot. They have a major convention center that seems to be the hot spot for everything Africa. They are building a new stadium, a huge stadium, think the Dome or something of that nature. So it is major. So I tell people, getting into any kind of business here right now, you can pretty much do very, very well. So it's just a lot going on. It's pretty amazing to see. Now, I'm not the person that's going to say invest in Africa, because I don't know that I would invest in any of these other countries. This is pretty much the only one that I would invest in, because I know how things work here, and I know that we have the government to back it up. How much can you rent these units for? And what's the median income in the area? The median income in the area, you're not renting to those people. You're not renting to local people at all. You are definitely renting to foreigners, expats, people that's in and out of the country. A 2-bedroom, about $1,500. Maybe more, depending on what the market looks like at that time. But in the city, you can do, it depends on where you are in the city. But for people that don't know any better, when you first come into the city, you will probably rent from anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month. For people that know better, like me, I'm renting for $800. So another thing that I am about to start looking at is rental arbitrage. I'll actually be looking at that in the next week, because I can get an apartment here for $700 a month, furnish it for like $2,000, and rent it, and then Airbnb it for like $1,500 to $1,700 a month. So that is what I'm looking at next, because I'm trying to decide, do I want to buy more land right now, or maybe I'll just do the rental arbitrage. There's just so many opportunities available here. Even when I go, I do land tours now. I take people on tours to see different land and things like that. And even when I go, I'm like, I don't even know which one I want to invest in next, because there's so much to invest in. I will say the downside is that you need money. This is not the place where you come to get money. So you need to have financing when you're ready to build. Or even if you're ready, even if you're buying. The population, I don't know what the population is in Rwanda off the top of my head. It is, it's in my business plan. But I don't know the population. What I am more so when you do market research here, it's a little bit different. So what I'm more so am looking at is the number of people coming in and what they're coming in for. What they are coming in for, there's always a conference here. There's always a convention here. Boys the Men was just here on Friday. Like, there's always something going on in this area. Then you also have people that's coming in for work. A lot of people that you meet that live out here that aren't locals came in for work, whether it's the energy sector, IT sector, security, agriculture. I mean, they're doing some things I didn't even know. I know one woman, she has a rabbit farm because apparently the stool from a rabbit, you can use it and do all these amazing things. Yeah. Alicia, you're shaking your head. Yeah, are
Yeah,
you
you
familiar with
can.
that?
Yeah, it's funny that you said that. I recently came across it because my daughter has a large dog, and there is a couple who have a farm. I think it's down in Georgia, and they breed Connie Corsos. And a part of that, they have their market store, like their local store, and they ship out rabbit. There's rabbit feed, there's different parts of their body. But yeah,
Yeah, it's a major thing. It's only one person that's doing it, and she's making a killing off of it.
yep.
Yeah, so and then um so like you can get security, you have the quarters for them to live, the security lives on site, they do the house cleaning, you pay them like $100 a month to do these things. And then when you look at, and then you're still giving them somewhere to stay. So it actually comes out better. It actually comes out better for them. So you have that help on the ground as well that's doing everything. What's your question, Daryl? You're muted.
So my question is this, right? And I want to I want to show you a graphic. So Rwanda's population is growing. They only have one little dip right here, and that sucker just took off again. What do you think is causing that population to grow like that? And if it's not the locals, where do you think these people are coming from?
So the dip was the genocide. In 94, they had a genocide.
Okay.
And after the genocide, they had a new president, and he's been president ever since. When they got the new president, they put the majority of the office were women. So this is a woman run country. I think it's about 60-70%. So their goal is to build Rwanda to this amazing place. And let me see. So am I able to share my screen?
Yep. Yes, you are.
Okay. So I'm gonna share this screen. So if you look here, do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look here with Rwanda, right, they have all of these different things coming. They're big on Twitter. If you were to post on Twitter, the president will answer you. They have all of these different areas that you can do. Let's say you want to go into energy. So they tell you their targets, their strategies. They show you what the investment opportunities are. They give you the process. You can start your business online in a matter of days in Rwanda for free.
Okay.
You said you lost me?
No, someone else said that.
Oh, okay. So you can set your business up in a matter of days. You want to go into agriculture. They put it out there. They make it very easy. What can you do? What do we need? What are your incentives? So they're giving you all of this. They're helping you with that. Let's say you want to manufacturing. They're doing manufacturing as well. They have put a lot of money into developing Rwanda, and they have put, they didn't want to just be recognized by the genocide. They wanted to be recognized by all of these different things. So you look here, all of these things have come about since this genocide in 94. In the grand scheme of things, that's not a very long time. You're thinking a country that's like 30 years old, basically, and they're already doing all of these things. So the people that are coming in, it's not locals. It's not, I know somebody was like babies. No, it's not. These are people from other countries. You will easily meet someone here from another country that's working here, because they're doing everything. They're doing infrastructure, they're doing energy, they're doing education. They have their hands in every sector. So that's why I say your population actually is not the locals. The locals can't afford what it is that you're doing. Your population is everybody else. A lot of places don't have, what Rwanda has as far as the conference center, that's state of the art. As far as, when you come to Africa, you need internet. Having a country that has stable internet, stable utilities is really amazing. I'm not even going to say Africa. When I was in Dominican Republic, I didn't have stable electricity. When I was in Colombia, I didn't have stable internet. So they're doing some major things, and you can go right here. You can open up a whole business right on this page. You can do investment certificates. So this is, they're doing all of these things. This is not typical for an African country. So they are literally leading the way for all the countries. Even the ones that are bigger are looking at Rwanda like, wow, because Rwanda is like this really tiny country. Like if you look on the map, Rwanda is this really small country that just looks like a dot in the middle, basically. And they're doing all of these major, major things. Like, if you didn't want to just do apartments, this is a place that you could probably do senior living. Some research would need to be done, but I know someone that's opening up a senior living facility. It's not necessarily for nursing, it's for retirees, like a 50 and up community.
Right.
I know someone else, they're doing a villa. They're building a villa of houses and they're selling those houses after that. They ship their items from China. So it's cheaper and it's better. So there are a lot of different things that you can do here. It's really whatever you can think of, you can do. The amusement sector, there's nothing like that's wide open. If you wanted to get some land and try to get it sold to Disney or somebody, it's just, I told somebody if we opened up a skating rink and bowling alley, we would be doing amazing, and put some games in there. We would do amazing. There's just so many opportunities, and everyone is coming here. What brings families here, because I see a lot of families come here, is because it's safe. It is the safest, if one of the safest, if not the safest country on the continent. Americans move here with their children because it's safe. It's one of the safest countries in the world. So you will see a lot of families here from other places for the safety.
But the local, how far are you? Let's say your area or those that are investing in Rwanda, how far are you or the other investors from, I want to say the local areas. You know what I mean? So I don't want, I just, people, the people that live there, but they may not live close by where everything is happening. They may be a little distance away.
One thing about Rwanda that they have done is, they may have locals that live in like these little shack areas and they want to beautify the area. They will tear them down, build an apartment building, and relocate those people into those apartments. So the locals are not necessarily far away. Like right now, I live in a city that's full of locals. So you have, some smaller places, and then you have some larger places and some condos. So it really depends on where you are. There's some more expensive areas where you're not really going to see a lot of locals, but the city itself is like 30 minutes. You can drive the city in about 30 minutes. So, and that's the major city, and with the other cities connecting. So it's not like it's not huge. It's actually pretty small. It's
Yeah.
just very hilly. So you do have local people that live within the city. You may not know where they live because now they live in high rises. Because unlike our country, where we just displace our people and then they're homeless, they actually choose to they build somewhere for them to stay, and then they have them move there. They're not happy they have to move there, but these are actually nicer places than where they already live. So that's the thing. As they beautify their city, you don't see any homeless here. That now they may live on the outskirts. Now, when I went to another city, I would see the little shacks they live in, but they're not homeless. They all have homes, but it's just like little like stone shacks. The other thing is it's the locals that's selling you the land. So what they did after the genocide, they gave out land to their local people. So they said you calm down. They they said you can have this land. So some of them took the land, some of them were like, I don't want that, I don't know what to do with it. So this land that they're selling for 5,000, 20,000, 75,000, this money is going to the local people. So now they can take their money and do something else with it. So that's one of the things I love about here, because that's not normally the way that goes. But that's what they're doing. So you're buying land from Rwandans. You're not buying land from, someone from Europe, unless they bought it and then they're reselling it. But right now, no, you're buying my landowner that I bought my land from, and I meet up with him and everything. No, he's a local. Him and his wife own the land, and they split it up into plots and they sell it.
Okay.
So, question for you. So, one, a statement I have. I know that our bishop shared this information when we were in church, but and you all may have seen some of the news announcements where several of the African presidents of all of these different countries here, they're apologizing to African Americans and welcoming them home. So I would be interested in seeing how the population growth occurs over the next several months to the next few years, and see if you see folks moving out there or buying second properties out there in those locations. The question that I have is for someone that wants to start investing, say with you, what are some of the things that you need? Because I know the last time we spoke, you were looking at purchasing more property and leveraging more capital because they accept cash out there. What are you looking for, and how can we support you along that journey?
So, okay, so the first half of that, there's actually a pretty big African American community out here that I'm a part of. We have all kinds of networking events and everything. So it's actually a pretty, compared to other countries I've been in, they're very cohesive. They do a lot of meeting up and working together. As far as what I'm doing. So if you were to want to buy land or property, I can definitely help you with that. You would need to know what your budget is. I would say no less than 10,000. You can get stuff for 5,000, but what you're going to want is no less than 10,000. No less than 10,000, where the new airport will be. It's slated to be done in 2 years. Will it be done in exactly 2 years? Well, you know how building goes, but building here is quicker than in America. And then if you want it in the city at this point, you're starting at 25K for a plot of land. But there's also situations where you can buy a house, gut it, and remodel it. That's still an option. You can get like a 4 or 5 bedroom house, which may cost you about 60K. You can get it gutted, remodeled in like 2 months. Like they work fast. That may cost you 40K to get that done. So, the opportunities are there. As far as the property that I'm looking for, I will be doing some capital raising to build up those apartments. However, I'm waiting on them to finalize them, as in the city, to finalize some things first. I want them to finalize what this land is for. Is it going to be mixed use or residential? Because if it's going to be mixed use, I'm going to put office buildings on the ground floor, increase the revenue. And then I'll have the apartments, and then I'll have an open air space where I may even have a restaurant there. So I need to make sure that I want to maximize the revenue. So I won't do any capital raising until I know their final plans. Now in the city, the plans are already final. There's no changing there. So it really just depends on what you want to do. If you wanted to invest in something that I'm doing, if you wanted to do your own property, I think eventually I will probably have where have Americans come over here and probably do a property tour. But I do want to find out what the city, their final remarks are about this particular area by the airport, because they are deciding they've had to do some restructuring, because this was a little country town and now things are going very fast. And, they had to do some restructuring because a lot of the land is agriculture land. So now they need to decide what's going to be multi-use residential, what's going to be industrial use. So all of those things are definitely there. The downside to that is if you wait to buy after they decide, then of course those prices are going to go up. However, I'd rather pay a little bit more, be safe than sorry, especially with someone else's money. So I do want to wait on that. But anything in the city is fair game right now. As far as having to pay all cash, there are loans here. The loans just come with like a 17% interest rate. So you're better off getting a loan locally, maybe like an unsecured, something of that nature, using credit card, however you want to do that. You're better off getting a loan locally and building what you need to build. And then off that money that you make, you can pay that off. So that is the best way to do that if you needed financing. So there are a couple of ways to do things here. I know some realtors. I know there's some people that's not realtors, but they know landowners, and that's how you connect with them. And then there are processes to things. I have someone that I'm networking with because I don't want to do the paperwork. It's a lot. The business, very simple to do, but the paperwork following that, if you own one plot of land, you don't have to do any paperwork. You just put it in your name. But if you want to own more than one plot of land, you now have to put it into a business. So I have someone that will do the business paperwork. Unless you want to do your own business paperwork, you can do that. But there are some steps, and I will say that Africa moves slowly. So whatever they say, I just double it, and that's what I've come to expect. So if it says 3 days, I wait 6 days before I call. If it says 2 weeks, I wait 4. So these are things that you kind of learn as you go along, because things are done a little different here. But the money it is definitely here. The money is coming, and it's just all of these different opportunities. So, I mean, if someone is interested, you can definitely reach out to me. I do a Invest in Africa call. Um, so it's not expensive, but I charge a little bit because y'all, I'll be up at 3 a.m. and if somebody doesn't show up, I get very mad. So, but we do a call where we can talk in detail about what it is that you want to do and what you want to invest in, and how I can help that happen. So that is definitely there. Let's see. Yeah, you could move into a unit during construction. Now, one thing that I am thinking I would really
Daryl,
want to do.
That was Sonia offering Daryl service.
I was mentioning Daryl can move into construction.
Yes, he can. So one thing I do want to do is buy some hectares of land. They are a little pricey because it's hectares, but I would like to have some investors that would be interested in buying some hectares of land. I looked at some land the other day next to the property that I said, I think it's Bill Gates' son. It's one of those mega people's son, where I could, and then the president just bought a house out there, and I could definitely see opening a strip mall there. So that is something that I would love to have some investors for. So that is definitely one of the things that I'm looking at, because I can definitely, it's about, I gotta see how much that one was. I think it's about 5 hectares. And again, a hectare is 2.5 acres. So it's about 5 hectares. It's off of a major road. It's right next to the son's major project. It's down the street from the president. So this is going to be a high-end neighborhood. So that's something that I am looking at. Somebody asked me if I have any interest in Guyana, the #1 oil producer in the world. I don't know anything about it. I always remind myself and remind people, Africa is a continent. Rwanda is a country. A lot of times, the map is very disproportionate. Africa is one of the biggest continents in the world, even though it looks very small. So when we compare the country to country, Rwanda is like the US. Nigeria is like Canada, so when you look, when you really think about it in that way, it's kind of, it becomes a little bit more difficult, because we have this country, and then we have these provinces, and then we have these sectors. So it's like saying, you have a state, you have counties, you have cities. So for me, this is where I'm looking to invest. This is what I know. This is what I want to know, like the back of my hand. I've talked to people today about even maybe doing a nonprofit. So this is where I want to be. I don't know anything about Guyana. It may be great. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't know.
It's different. I have a friend that travels there on a regular basis. It's different than Rwanda.
Yeah, they say that Rwanda this is my first African country, and I came here first because I was doing business, and I was like, I'll party later. But they say this is the soft landing. This is as developed gets. It's clean. No other places are clean like this. They say when I go to the next places, I am going to be shocked, because things don't run like this. This is as smooth runs. This is all, they have all the checks and balances. They have the parliament. Everybody has a job, and they do their job. So I don't know that like when you look at the top 10 countries to invest in, you see Kenya, you see South Africa, you see Nigeria. I see too many scams in those places. So I'm just gonna stay here. And, my money as far as investing is going to stay here because, I look at people that I know that's invested in Ghana, and the chief is who's over everything. So basically, if you get ripped off by the chief or the chief's people, you are literally going to the chief to say, I got ripped off. Can I have my money back? And of course, the chief says no, because he sold it to you. So I don't want that. I want a president. I want parliament. I want checks and balances. I need all of these different things for me to be comfortable investing. Now, does that mean I'm not going to go to Ghana and buy some gold? Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Because I don't know if y'all are aware of BRICS. So I will be moving some of my money out of the American system. But so there are things that other countries are good for. You just need to find out what it is. So if Guyana is good for oil and you know this, then you look at investing in the oil industry there. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll go and buy real estate there, but if the oil is it, then invest in something that has to do with the oil. What's up, Daryl?
Is Rwanda considering joining BRIC?
Not that I know of just yet, but they're all up, down, and around. I know that Africa was kind of considering doing their own thing. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I know South Africa
Yeah.
joined BRIC, so I'm just wondering if others, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if they would join in. I know their money is worth a little less than it was before. So it may behoove them to do so, but I'm not sure what they're planning on doing right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then on my website, that's where my appointments are. So if anyone wanted to talk further, and definitely if anyone would be interested in doing the more group investment where you buy hectares, larger plots of land, build on it, or even divide them up to resale. I think that would be the next move that I want to make here, but it will be after Christmas, once that documentation is done and I can see what's really going on, because we would need commercial land or industrial land to do what I think really needs to be done, because commercial land, I would want to, it's a major airport, I want to get some Targets, Walmarts, grocery stores, things of that nature there, because none of that is there. So you would really be making a huge splash.
Great. So, Charisma, do me a favor. I was scrolling, and I do believe you posted it, but would you do me a favor and just post your website, your point of contact, where if someone wanted to get in contact with you, that they can, because this is some good information. So please post that again. And I would like to thank you for speaking on this, because I'm gonna be honest. I think you need to get out and start spreading the word even more. Not just
I'm trying my time.
Yeah, but not just the GOB platform, but I really think you need to start trying to get on some of these podcasts and stuff like that. So
Okay.
Even ask, say, hey, I want to go on your podcast. Let them know what you do. Reach out to everyone that has a podcast, so that you can really spread the word. So
okay, Daryl, it'll only let me send it to you. Why is that?
Really?
I don't know.
Why is that
It doesn't
happening?
give me the option to everyone.
Wait a minute. Let me see what happened here. There, try it now.
There it goes. Okay. So, but on my website, my YouTube is on there because I talk about this. I'll show the land tours. and things of that nature. My Facebook, my Instagram, making appointments, all of those different things are all on there. So I talk
Good.
about all of this on the YouTube. So it's plenty of
Good.
information out there.
Yeah, but we got to get you on some more podcast stuff that really push you out there. But Charisma, I want to say thank you so much. If anybody want to get in contact with Charisma, please reach out to her because man, she's telling you stuff I don't even know nothing about. And so she's telling you stuff that could, if you're really looking at wanting to broaden your horizon, I would say definitely speak to Charisma. And this is something different. It's going to break out of that comfort zone, right? And once you come out the comfort zone, you're going to elevate. You're going to elevate yourself even higher. Okay. So, Charisma, I want to say thank you again for coming. I really appreciate it. And everyone, please give Charisma a round of applause. And let's see if we could get her on some more podcasts. If you know someone to have a podcast, and if you feel that what Charisma is talking about can really spread, get spread across the communities, tell them, hey, go talk to Charisma. They need to get her on their podcast. All right. So Charisma, thank you again. Thank you everyone for coming. And listen, we'll see you back here on the Capital Way Strategy Session next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Charisma.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right.